Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, where are you? I've been doing stand-up comedy this year.
Yeah, I know. It's very exciting. Tom, out of the blue, decided to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, it's been exciting. It's been
And
very
probably rose quicker than any stand-up comic in history.
Well, I've been very inspired by you and a lot of the guests that I've had on the web show. And there's people, I've been interviewing so many comedians over the last few years, and I'm just thinking, geez, why am I not trying to do this? So I've now we're playing together on New Year's Eve.
Yes, that's very exciting.
It's going to be a good New Year's Eve this year in
Dallas.
Dallas.
I haven't done a New Year's Eve show for years.
Yeah, we're going to fly together to Dallas.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun little adventure for us.
Yeah. Where are we playing?
We're playing in Dallas, I believe. Yeah. It's in Dallas.
Have you been to Dallas?
I've been to Dallas before, yeah.
Have you seen Daly Square?
Yeah, I went down to the book depository.
Yeah.
I went to the top of the book depository. I went and stood on the grassy knoll.
Oh, yeah. You're a conspiracy theorist on almost everything, right?
Well, I like to watch the videos. I don't know whether I believe one story or the other story. My understanding is that JFK was assassinated by a joint operation between the Russian KGB and the Cuban Secret Service. That's my understanding. But I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. You could be.
Some people say it's just that guy Lee Harvey Oswald,
Yeah.
But it seemed a little bit unlikely.
The Lee Harvey Oswald?
Well, the angles looked a little off.
Yeah.
The angles looked a little off. Because
they often say about these conspiracy theories, they say that the reason that they come up is because on one side you have JFK, and on the other side you have Lee Harvey Oswald. JFK, an enormous historical figure, and Lee Harvey Oswald, a nobody. And since people can't adjust to the fact that a nobody could kill a very important person, then they have to weigh the balance. And since they have Kennedy on one side, they have to put something equal on the other side to pretend there's justice in the world.
They do say, though, that JFK made more assassination attempts on foreign leaders than any president in the history of the United States.
Oh, karma.
On Fidel Castro was many attempts there, poison toothpaste and
poison toothpaste?
All these exploding cigars and things like that.
Yeah, I heard about the exploding cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah, poison toothpaste exploding.
What?
You got all those assassination attempts from a novelty store.
Yeah. And now Lee Harvey Oswald, of course, he was defected to Russia. He was a U.S., I believe, Navy, and he apparently was responsible for bringing the plans to Russia for the U-2 spy plane that enabled the Russians to shoot down the U-2 spy plane.
Yeah.
And then he defected.
The one that Francis Gary Powers was at the helm of?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Was that the pilot?
Yeah.
It was a U.S. pilot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They had a French guy flying it? Who? What?
Francis Gary Powers.
Oh, Francis. Is that the pilot's name?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought you said Francis Gary Powers. Not Francis Gary Powers. I thought you said Francis Gary Powers, which doesn't sound like a French name
Gary
at all.
Powers?
No.
When I was just in Canada, they gave me a DVD of a Canadian TV movie on Rocket Richard, so I'm going to be interested in watching that. Maybe I'll bring it up to the house and we'll watch it together.
Wait, you just picked that up?
A guy gave it to me in Winnipeg, yeah.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Does it look like a good production? Or?
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing it because my dad hated Rocket Richard.
Yeah.
Because during the war, the French wouldn't fight. The French Canadians wouldn't fight in the Second World War. So that's when Rocket Richard broke all the records in the NHL, when all the English players were serving the Queen.
Oh, really? This is true, huh?
Yeah.
Is this true?
Because, of course, the French would not want to fight in a war that in England's war. You know what I mean?
This is another thing that we have similarity in our background. We both grew up on Canadian Army bases.
Yeah, right.
CFB Valcartier.
And you were in Trenton or something, right?
Petawawa.
CFB
Petawawa.
Where the airborne was.
Yeah. My dad was Army, captain in the Army.
Yeah.
And
you know what's going on there now? Maybe in Petawawa. Do you know that story?
hazing? Are they all hazing each other?
No, there was
All
a
shitting
serial
on each other.
murderer.
They all shit on each other a lot, don't they? Do you remember a few years ago there was all those videos that came out with them rubbing shit all over each other? The Canadian Army? No, maybe it was a scandal not really worth bringing up again, I guess. Doesn't
That was
really
the
pay
hazing?
homage to my...
That was the hazing?
There was some hazing scandal a few years ago. I thought you were going to bring that up. No, what are they doing?
Remember when you used to put the shit on the microphone?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's where that came from.
Do you think you invented that whole genre, the jackass?
Well, I know I invented.
Was there anyone before
I know
you?
I invented putting poo on a microphone because I've
Was there
never
anyone
seen that
before
before.
you?
Well, I was, I was just kind of copying Candid Camera and Letterman, basically, But so I'm sure, yeah, sure.
No, but was there anyone before you that did the
home video stuff, running
Yeah.
around with the video camera?
Yeah.
I was inspired by skateboard videos and things
Right.
like this, and Letterman. And him yelling at people with a megaphone out of the
Right.
window and all that kind of stuff. So, but
And then how do you feel? Because you obviously grew out of it,
yeah,
right?
not really. No, I just
Well, I mean, you're not like Johnny Knoxville. Like when you see Johnny Knoxville, do you go, "Holy fuck, these guys should stop"? Like Steve-O.
Yeah, I do know Steve-O, yeah.
Do you
Well,
ever, do you ever counsel
they
them?
took the self-mutilation stuff further than I did. I did some gross stuff, but I
Right.
never really got into the mutilation.
But my point
stuff.
is,
I did
isn't
have
it-
my testicle removed on my
Don't
show,
you-
but that was not for voluntarily.
But I'm saying, don't you feel it's a young man's game? Do you feel once they? Did you see Jackass 3?
I haven't seen that one yet. No,
Oh, it's very moving in a way.
really
It is in a sense, it is, but
moving,
it's a little
like a bowel movement, or
No, it's rather.
I will
It
see
has
it.
some very emotional moments in it, but there are times when you go, boy, these guys are getting a little. They're not kids anymore.
yeah. Well,
Johnny has a few kids of his own.
Yeah. Well, it got to a point that the physical stuff started getting a little bit too exhausting, and that's. I sort of look at it now and I think, geez, that $150 million looks nice that they made.
Right.
So, I can't say I don't think it looks like a lot of fun what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are we
If
talking
I-
about
if
me
I
here?
asked you- If I asked
why the heck are we
you,
talking about me here?
if I asked you, if I said, if I asked you, if I said, Tom, would you give me $1 million if I cut off your leg? What would you say?
Wait, say that again.
If I offered you $1 million to cut off your leg, would you accept?
If you offered me $1 million
To cut off your right leg.
No, I would not accept that.
If I offered you $1 million to cut off your left leg, would you accept?
No, but
What about if I offered you $1 million to cut off both of your arms?
no.
Would you
absolutely.
accept? You
No.
would not accept?
No.
So you're admitting to me that your arms and legs are worth more than $3 million. Then treat them
wait.
like that. Treat them like that, for
wait.
God's sakes.
Oh,
Treat them
wait.
like that.
I would get $1 million each for each limb.
No.
Oh, because I would take that. I'd take $3 million for 2 arms and a leg. I'd do that. I'd take $3 million for 2 arms and a leg, but not $1 million for 1 leg. No, I could use $3 million. I'd sit around and watch TV all day,
But,
tap my fingers on my one good hand. I'd have the remote, right?
yeah.
Yeah. No, I
But
don't.
you lose your cock, too.
Yeah. What? How much for chopping the cock off? You never mentioned that.
That was implied.
I actually have questions here. I actually have some
Oh,
questions.
you got
that
some
I'd like to-
questions?
Yeah, let's.
I said no questions.
Really?
No.
Do you have any SNL stories that you've never told before? Behind the scenes, any
Of
stories?
SNL?
Yeah, that you've never
I'm
told
sure
before.
I've got millions, but what do you mean? I can't think of any.
Because something that
Millions
you
of
know.
things happen all the
Is there
time.
anything that you've ever never talked about before that you've thought about
I'm
a lot?
sure there's lots, but
You didn't talk about it for a reason, or
no, I'm just.
I just need to leave.
Things changed. Things would happen every single day, so there was hundreds and thousands of stories.
Yeah, I want to try to not ask you questions that we've talked about before.
Oh, I see. Well, you have to be more specific.
Okay.
You can't ask a person to fucking ask their own question.
That's true. I thought I'd try to see if I could get away with it. I didn't.
You know what I've noticed? You've been interviewed a lot now. There's a new technique in interviewing, I've noticed, when I do these goddamn interviews on the phone.
Yeah.
With radio people. And at the end, they go, is there anything that I didn't ask that I should have?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever heard that one?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they usually also ask the same questions all the time. Because we were talking about this earlier. Yeah. It's sort of basically everybody's entire life now is on Wikipedia.
Right.
So you get all the Wikipedia questions. I asked you something before the show because I'd never heard that you were a painter or a basketball player.
Right.
And it turns out you're not a painter,
I'm not a painter
not
or
a basketball player.
Because
that's on your Wikipedia
it's on
page.
Wikipedia, yeah. That's funny.
What was it? I know we've talked about this before, but I watched it again today because I always love watching this on YouTube. When you hosted or did comedy at the White House, not the White Horse Correspondents' Dinner. That would have been cool too. And the White Horse, Yukon.
Yeah.
No, at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in front of Bill Clinton.
Yes.
I enjoy watching that one because of the sort of the way it really ramps up. It starts out, and I think people didn't know what to think because you really kind of come in hard on some of the people in the audience. That must have been a fun experience. Was that fun or was that nerve-wracking?
It was fun meeting Larry Flint. I think we may have talked about this. I don't know.
It was odd. I don't know if we talked about Larry Flint. Why was Larry Flint there? That was
because every year at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, somebody brings like an odd guest or a novelty guest, and this year somebody had brought Larry Flint. Yeah. For some reason, I think maybe because the movie came out or something like that about him, and so he was there, and I met him afterwards, and he rolled up to me. He lives in a wheelchair. Yeah. And so he says to me, he says, I go, what the fuck are you talking about? So then he said, I had to get real close to him, and I get very uncomfortable around people in wheelchairs and shit like that. And
what?
Huh?
You do?
Yeah, because I have to make eye contact with them. And,
well.
And while I'm making eye contact with them, I go, I hope they don't see a weird look on my fucking face.
Right.
So
he's not sure how to act.
I don't know how to act. Yeah. So, anyways, finally I understood him. He's like, "When you coming out here, look me up." So I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll look you up."
Yeah.
And he said, "I'll take care of you." So then I was like, "Take care of me? What the fuck does that mean, right?"
That sounds pretty good.
You take my Uncle Basil.
Yeah.
Back in lives back in Bell's Corners in Ottawa. If he said, "Hey, I'll take care of you when you come to Bell's Corners," that would mean if you went over to his house, he'd serve you a nice chicken pot pie, you know, and you'd watch Matlock. Right. But Larry Flint. Mm-hmm. I think it would involve me having sex with a lady. Yeah. And there, Larry Flint all of a sudden coming in, whacking off in a wheelchair. I'm only guessing, but.
Yeah, that doesn't sound perfect.
No.
Now, wait, you were in The People versus Larry Flint. Was this before?
That's right.
Was this before or after when you met him?
That was, I don't know. No, it was before. It was before I met him, yeah. I mean, it was after I met him. It was The People against Larry Flint. Yeah. People versus Larry Flint. People versus Larry Flint. Yeah. And I played one of the people. Yeah.
Weren't you were a reporter in the movie? Or?
Yeah, I was a reporter. Milos Forman, who was the director, who's this brilliant director who directed Amadeus and
Man on the Moon.
But most notably One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah. And he used to watch Saturday Night Live, and he liked me. And he got in his head that I could act. So he goes, "Norm, you're a great actor, I can tell." And I'm just doing jokes, on the Weekend Update. And I'm like, "I don't think so, Milos." I think you're wrong.